You know?
I wouldn't say it pulled me away, but I will say this. I grew up on Main Street in Norristown. Everybody knows that it's not the nicest areas. They're not, there's parts of Norristown that aren't that great. And I'm a little rough around my edges too, but I stand for what I believe in. I stand up for my, everything I ever worked for is in those barbershops. And everybody's entitled to their opinion, but when it's a false opinion, I have to set the record straight and I have to stand up for myself and for others, and there was a Yelp review that was less than flattering. That was actually, I have text messages saying that this was actually a fake review from this guy who was actually mad at me at the time. It had nothing to do. There was no facts to it. So I just had to make it known that, like, listen, it's, this isn't true, but, I had to let people know and let them form their own opinion.
Right.
I know what I'm doing. I know where.
Internet trolls are just distracting. It's just so distracting. Trolls. I had this talk with Cecily Tanya, and she was saying you have to get beyond them because you and I have the advantage of not being pretty women in a visual medium and people judging you, but she says you have to get beyond it. But it's like looking at an Amazon review. I find I gravitate towards the worst review and start
and
there.
I do too.
And
that's why I sometimes, like I said, I have to respond, and I try to respond in the most professional way possible by forming my my side of the story and letting the public, because actually, if you think about it, sometimes things like Yelp and stuff, that's their first impression of your business.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't respond to a bad review, then it kind of looks like you're guilty by not responding.
My response, and a few times I've had people say stuff that we disagree on. I don't want to debate back and forth over that medium, and I usually say, let's meet in person. Sit down, have a slice of pizza or something, talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a right
They never
to
show.
Everybody has a right to have their opinion, and there are a lot of internet gangsters out there that they'll say things over the, but beyond that, I mean, I know the person I am, and I know what I'm doing for the community and globally, and for the detractors out there, the haters, if you will. What are you doing? At the end of the day, what are you doing that you have time to write fake reviews and stuff when I'm out here trying to support my family, help other people support their families, help natural disasters, for God's sake.
Yeah.
I mean,
your barbershop was packed when I went there.
It usually is. I mean, we do really good work.
I got to ask you a barbershop question now.
Okay. How
much do you charge to cut a head of hair?
Well, our prices range anywhere from $15 to $25. And that, like, the $25 package would be a haircut and actual straight razor shave. Like,
so 15 is the minimum.
15 is the minimum. It's set aside for students 18 and under, or military, firefighter, police officer, post office. Anybody has like a service job, ambulance. Driver.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's just for the haircut. But if they wanted to add a shave to that, that's $20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. I go in there and get a $15 haircut.
Mm-hmm. But you're getting really like a $40 haircut.
But how come a guy
only pay
who goes in there looks like Chewbacca pays the same $15?
Well, I don't charge by the haircut. I give everybody the same price.
It seems a little unfair. It seems like you get somebody who looks like a Wookiee and you get me. I'm a minute of work.
Yeah, you're not a minute of work, by the way.
Why would be a minute of work?
No, but
I see them. They're behind me just making scissor noises in the air.
Yeah. Well, I have a funny saying about that. I'm a beautician, not a magician. So I just do my best. And to be honest, we're very fairly priced. There are places that charge a lot more than us.
No, 15's a bargain.
That don't do what we do.
I think it's an average. I think you're paying as you go through life because you were the Wookiee once and now you're not. And,
But Mark, did you tell them what they have available there? Did you see my table there that I have when you walked to my barbershop?
I saw magazines.
Well, yeah, I have magazines there, but I do something a little different than other barbershops. See, like I have a stainless steel table there. It's filled with snacks, potato chips, peanuts, Rice Krispie treats, fruit snacks, Airheads, candy.
It was like more of a. It was more of a community center that had barbershop chairs in it.
Yeah.
Than it was a barbershop.
Well, yeah. Another thing is...
Because I kind of didn't know what was going on when I went in there. Was it somebody's birthday or what was going on?
We have also a refrigerator there that's filled with beer, soda, and Kool-Aid for the kids. And well, no beer for the kids, but you know what I mean. Root beer. We do have root beer for the kids, but...
you heard it here. Sal's Barbershop where they give beer to the minors.
Yeah. Root beer.
root beer.
But see, my thing was when I first opened, somebody had said to me when I told them that idea of actually giving away free snacks and stuff like that. And they were like, you're not going to make no money doing that. I said, no, if you come to my house, being from an Italian family, you come to my house, I'm going to offer you something to drink and eat.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, that's how I was raised. So what should it be any different if you come to my business? So what I do is, you know, like there's kids, a lot of kids don't like getting their haircuts. So they come in, they pick a snack, they start to like look around, they see all the sports on the walls and the red, white, and blue everywhere. And they see, you know, and we're really good with kids. We actually won best barbershop for kids 2 years in a row. And, we really pride ourselves on kids and just the community aspect. Like you said, you saw tons of different people there, diverse, you know, from black, white, Asian to old men next to kids getting their first haircuts.
Yeah. And I was out there and I said, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I don't care. I said that, you know, the types of barbershops you have, you know, well, you have the hoity toity, you have the gangster, you have the Chuck E. Cheese, and you have the Sopranos barbershop, and this is a mix of everything together. And everybody was, it was having fun. It was like you're walking to somebody's house.
Yeah, I wanted to make something that when people walk in, the cherry on top's the actual haircut, the quality of the haircut, because you know all my guys treat it like an art form, and I do too. But what I'm saying is, like, when they leave, I want them to go tell somebody how awesome the shop was.
Local barber in my area just retired and died, like, within days.
Oh, that's horrible.
After doing it for, like, 60-some years.
That's what happened to my grandfather as well.
And
about a year.
Before he did, when I was in first grade or something, back when you could let a kid walk home in first grade and when a kid could walk home in first grade, I used to go by the barbershop. He had a little horse he would sit the kids on, the combo, like you're talking about. And I remember I would bang on the window when his back was to me to startle him, to make him mess up.
Cut somebody's ear off.
I mean, he probably cut ears off, eyelashes and stuff and everything. And then one day, my mother decided to change over. She always cut my hair. You know, when you're a kid, your parents cut your hair. They don't care. They just floby you up or whatever. Take
Put
the
a ball on
shears.
top of your head.
Yeah. Get out of the house. She decided I was getting older. She's going to take me to the barbershop. I'm like, what you want? And she said, oh, we'll take you up on the avenue. I was like, because I knew he would ID me as soon as he saw me. We went in there. He was as pleasant as could be. Didn't say anything or whatever. We had a nice conversation, calmed down. He shaved my head bald.
I don't blame him.
He shaved my head. I had it coming. Coming. And
don't mess with your barber.
Oh yeah. He said, he spun me around and said, what do you think? And I screamed. He said, knock on my window again. He'd been waiting for like 6 years to do that.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, he shaved me. That was, I had it coming. I absolutely had it coming. But like I said, don't mess with your barber. A barber shop is a very intimate relationship.
It is. We've developed, I've invited people to my wedding that I met at barbershops. You know, we've become friends. You know, I've been to christenings of my customers and, you know, been to birthday parties for their kids and everything.
I've had missing person cases where I have to go do my interview and I find out, and it's like I'll get something from the family, and you know, I'll look at the truth. I'll want the truth, and I had one not that long ago, and I said, "Let me find this guy's barber." And went and talked to his barber. His barber had a whole different truth than his family did. Mm-hmm. Because there's it's almost a confessional. It's you know, there's nobody lies to their barber, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, you definitely get an intimate relationship with you know, your customers and their families, and like I told you before about these kids that come into my shops, you know. You're talking about cutting. I just watched 40 kids graduate PW last year that I've been cutting their hair for 6-7 years. And I had an actual kid come up to me and cry on my shoulder and said, "Thank you for talking to me all these years about sticking with school and going to college." Because there was times that I wanted to quit. So, I mean, I just did it because it was the right thing to do. I don't necessarily think like I think he had to go to college. I mean, I did it because I thought he should stick with, you know, finish what you start. And then find your niche afterwards. Like, I went to college. College wasn't for me. But now I developed a trade that I'm very good at. And they say if you love what you do, you never work. And I don't believe I do work. I believe I have an art form that I apply to my customers.
Who cut your hair?
I don't get my hair cut as often as I should.
Because your beard's looking a little...
Yeah, I know.
A little bit of a tramp. I'm just... you're in the business.
I have very talented barbers I have about 10 barbers on staff, and every single one of them I vet until I make sure that they're really ready for all diversity of styles.
But every time you get one to cut your hair, are you angering 9?
No, not necessarily, because nobody wants to cut my hair because my hair is hard to cut.
Yeah, you gotta.
But I really don't even like hair. If it was up to me, I'd shave it all off. The wife doesn't like that though.
So. Well, and we should.
I look like Edward Norton when I do that, actually.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, you got the eyebrows.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah, you shouldn't do that either, because that's kind of bad for business.
Yeah, you know, the bald barber.
Who goes to a barber? You know, it doesn't make sense.
True. I do have nice head of hair, but I don't get it. I like hats. I'm like very expressive. Like I want people to know I'm wearing a Sixers hat right now because let's go Sixers. And I want people to know, like, I'm an Eagles fan or I'm a Phillies fan, or because then they sit down with me and they're like, "Yo, did you see that game last week?" And then we could talk. Right. You know, it's a talking point. I don't tell my guys what to wear to work. You know why? Because I want them to express themselves. As long as they're not coming in with like.
Have you ever told them what not to wear?
No, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be as you know, expressive as possible. In good confines.
Yeah. There's a point when you got to draw some lines in the sand, though. Like, there's got to be somebody there that you put on like snack lockout. Yeah. Like, you know, somebody's got to pop the by where it's like, hey, this is kind of a courtesy. Yeah. You're like shopping here. You know, what do you hope? And you're very young. You've got years to deal with.
I'm 32.
What do you hope your legacy will be?
I just want people to talk about me like they talk about my grandpa. You know, I want people to remember me for not the rough around the edges guy that grew up in Main Street and was a drug addict. And I want people to remember the guy that's 11 years sober today and did his part for the community and changed lives. And I want that was a good father and a good husband. I mean, it's the most important thing to me.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that in the after show?
Yeah, I think we should talk a little bit about my grandfather giving me that chance to learn how to cut hair underneath him and what he told me and all. Like, and the lessons he taught me, yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that in the after show.